Hey YouTube! So today I wanted to talk about the controversial topic of bases. So is it ever okay for someone to use a base? And I also kind of want to look into like other examples that we can see in either past forms of other media or currently used forms of other media that use something that is similar to bases. So, do I think it's okay to use bases? Um, I think bases, I have a bit of a bias here. As a child, always used bases. I really enjoyed using them. I had a lot of success creating characters for myself off of bases. And I never found myself being someone who took advantage of what the bases had to offer. I just really enjoyed doing them. I had fun doing them. But I don't really do bases anymore. I did a little base for this video. But yeah, let's get right to the topic. So we can see in bases that you have a lot of the work done for you. Sometimes you have like all of the work done for you, where you've got the clothes, the hair, body, eyes, you have it all done. And this isn't really helpful to people in terms of doing anything towards your art. It's really more helpful towards people maybe learning how to use colors together. So this could be very helpful for people learning color theory. But with just your normal base, like the one I'm using, it can be very helpful for developing hairstyles, developing characters, stuff like that, without doing a whole body drawing and everything. Gives you something to start off with. So we can see artists doing this like today too. When people create yachas, for example, they tend to do stuff like this. When people create yachas, they often work off of a single base and then make different characters. But when we're looking at other mediums too, we can look at ceramics. Ceramics is a medium that uses molds. So what the molds do is they give you a form you can use. There's two types of molds in ceramics. There's slump molds and hump molds. So slump molds make it so you've got kind of a concave curve, while hump molds make it so it's a converse curve. That may be a little bit wrong, but you know what I'm trying to say. Slump, it goes in. Hump, the curve comes out. Anyways, another example where we do see the use of things that are like bases is actually in a more recent media, comics. As a lot of you may not know, but comics sometimes do use just generic, already generated place settings. You can see like alleyways that are based off of something else. The artist didn't actually do them, but it's been placed in or traced over or something, which tracing is a little bit of a different topic, but it is still among the same kind of vein. I think something that is important to mention with bases is, as long as you're not claiming that it is all your own work and that it is just something like a study, you shouldn't really have much of a problem. I think bases are great for starting artists, and I think they're great to learn off of. Well, things like slump molds and hump molds are just easier ways to do something and they get more successful results, which I guess you could say the same about a base, but you don't want to make bases your final artwork. Well, you can use a slump mold to make your final artwork, for example. It's a good way to learn or to fill in something when you want to focus on something else. Like if you are in a rush to finish your comic and you need to do backgrounds and you don't have the time to spend doing backgrounds, but you have to draw the characters, it might be more important to draw the characters before. We also see sometimes in not great comics people tracing like poses and going off of just generic poses and stuff, which doesn't always look the best, but it's kind of all about learning. So something that is really important with comics is, or something that's really important about art is kind of all about learning. You can learn quite a lot from just doing digital art, like through bases. I know as a child I did learn quite a lot from just doing base work. I learned a lot of shading techniques, I learned a lot of color techniques, and I did learn quite a bit of this stuff from my sister, who was also starting off with stuff like this at the time. I don't think that using bases is really a huge sin. I mean, there is a very, I guess we're going to say, loud minority in the community where we have a lot of people who badly edit bases and everything. But I think at the same time, there are a ton of people who are really good at editing bases and stuff. And there's really a lot you can do with a base. You can change up the face, you can really change up anything. I'm not saying that everyone should just drop everything and start using bases, but I kind of want to justify why people might go to use bases and why something like this may show or has shown up in the art world and in our modern era, and kind of like explore why this is so looked down upon and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really had to say. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, even if you don't really like base art. I did this just for the video. I promise I'm not going to be doing any more in the future. Hopefully you don't think it looks awful in the end. And maybe you've learned a new perspective today, or you learned something new. If you like this video, please give it a like. Leave a comment if you want to give me suggestions for new videos. Tell me how you like this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, your feedback really helps. That helps me get the motivation to keep going. But yeah, I actually had a little bit of like nostalgia going back to my base days. So I hope you didn't find me going back and reminiscing a bit too annoying. I think I might try and do a couple more videos like this in the future, kind of going in and looking at why stuff like this, like why we see stuff like this nowadays, and looking back in the past to see what artists in the past have done that's like this. There's actually like a lot of like cases to make for other things. I couldn't really think, I don't know of a ton for bases and stuff. You could think that maybe like the what is it? Quoirs? Oh my gosh. I'm showing that I don't know my art history. It's been a while, but there were Greek statues, very early Greek statues, where the common statue that you saw was a very stiff, straight up man. The body parts weren't sticking off or anything. And this was also true for many Egyptian sculptures too. It's kind of not exactly the same as bases, but it kind of follows off of following certain guides. It was the standard then to do poses like that and to not have body parts sticking out. And then later you got your little stance where one of the legs was out. I'm really disappointed in myself. I cannot remember the word right now. It's kind of late right now though. Please forgive me. Damn. But yeah, another base related thing I can think of right now is Romans. The Romans are kind of like modern art thieves, you know? Romans actually took a lot of Greek statues and they made replicas of them. So in a way, that is kind of working off a base. Working off of molds is almost kind of working off a base too, which is a very common technique used in sculpture. But yeah, I went off on a little tangent there. Anyways, I think I said something. Did I leave off on comments? I might have. Anyways, subscribe if you want to see more. Maybe I'll go on more tangents like this. Hopefully not, if you don't like those. But, yeah, I had fun making this video, and I hope you had fun watching it. So, yeah, bye!